When looking for information on telehealth on the internet and college websites, you'll find a fair deal of information about how to get started with telehealth, how to set yourself up, what equipment you need, standards, protocols, safety, data exchange, and all of those kinds of things. But there's not a lot of information about how to successfully conduct a telehealth consultation with an injured individual. So in this video, we're going to quickly run through 7 habits for highly effective telehealth consultations. First one is this: test, test, test. Before you go into your telehealth assessment, please check your lines. Make sure that you start your consult 5 minutes early, and with whatever technology you're using, do a quick test to make sure that everything's working, that your audio is working, and that all your equipment is ready. There's nothing more frustrating than having to deal with tech issues when all you really want to do is get into the medical consult. The second habit of highly effective telehealth consults is all around the rapport and the experience that you create when you first start the consultation. We all know how daunting it can be to get behind a camera, and the same is true not only for you as the medical expert, but also for the injured individual who's probably not used to having to do medical consults via telehealth. So it's important to make sure that the injured person feels comfortable, at ease, and relaxed. So all of those skills that you've so finely developed over your career in terms of helping people feel comfortable are now more important than ever. Don't forget to address the injured person by name, early and often. Consider your tone of voice. Try and make sure that you're relaxed and friendly. Again, when getting behind a camera, sometimes these things get a little bit forgotten because we're so busy focusing on technology. But we need to be really mindful. What tone of voice are we using? We still need to build rapport in the same way that we would on a face-to-face consult. In fact, it's even more important when doing a telehealth consult. Take a moment to talk to the person, to ask them how their day is, what their experience was with getting started on the consult today, and to build that level of rapport so the patient is feeling comfortable. If you take the time to do this, they'll be in a much more relaxed state and more likely to give you the medical information that you're looking for to help you make your determination. The third habit of success is to introduce yourself and to explain your role. Don't assume that they understand what they're there for, and don't assume that they understand how the consult is going to be conducted. Telehealth assessments are quite new for most people, so take the time to explain how the consult will run today. And throughout each point in the consultation, make sure you're anchoring where you're at within the consultation. Make sure you give them something to navigate through the consult with. So for example, we're going to start now with your history. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened? Next, we're going to move forward and we're going to have a look at the treatment to date and how effective they've been. And finally, in the last 5 minutes that we have together, I'd like to cover off what things you're able to still do on a day-to-day basis. Could we spend a moment and you could explain your day to me? Questions like that help to navigate where you're at throughout each part of the consultation. Success strategy number 4 is make sure you focus on the setting, the environment of the teleconference. And that's not just your setting, but it's the other individual setting as well, so the injured person's setting. Let's look at yours first. Camera setup is so highly important to make sure that the injured person is not looking at the top of your head or at your nose. Make sure that they can see your eyes. Make sure it's a quiet place. Make sure that there are no interruptions, and make sure that the technology is working well. From the perspective of the injured person, those same things apply. Given the era of coronavirus, you may have injured people who are doing their consults from home. If you feel that the quality of the examination is not where it needs to be, you have every right to stop the consultation or to ask them to move to a different location if they can. No, it's no point trying to do a consultation while they're sitting at home in their pajamas, on their bed, with the kids jumping around them. That's not going to work. It's still really important to adhere to principles around privacy, so that the injured person can feel that they can talk about what's happened to them. It's also important that it's an uninterrupted and a quiet environment for the injured individual as well. So more and more we are going to see medical consults in the medico-legal sphere being done from the injured person's home. That's okay, but if the environment is not conducive to you doing a thorough assessment, it is okay to ask the injured individual to make modifications ought to actually abort the conversation if it's not working for you. The fifth success habit is about how you present yourself and your energy levels. Shakespeare said to his actors, if you want the audience to shed one tear, you need to shed 10. Now I know that you're not actors, but the camera has a certain way of making people present really flat and disengaged and disinterested. So the message is amp it up. When you are with your clients, when you are with your patients, make sure that you are projecting your voice. Make sure that you're still giving eye contact. Make sure all those verbals, the aha, the yeses, the nods are still happening, and so that they know that you are engaged, that you're interested, and that you're listening to them. It's really important to increase your energy levels when you're engaging over a camera, so the individual feels that you actually are there to help them and to listen to their story. The sixth success habit is again around communication and letting people talk, letting people tell their story and feeling they're listened to. We know in the best of times that the studies have shown that patients take on average how long? About 32 seconds to tell their stories. But the same data also shows that medical experts take about 20 seconds before they interrupt. So that means there's a lot of the individual's story that they haven't relayed to you. There is a real danger in not biting your tongue. So my message here is, if you want to interject, count to 3. The power of the pause is so vitally important for getting out the story and for helping you make your diagnosis and recommendations for next step. The patient often can tell you so much more than even a physical palpation can tell you. So often in medicine we think that physical touch is the most important thing, but I would just urge you to consider the verbal aspects of a consultation too. What the patient tells you about their experience and what they think is happening can be so vitally important in helping you make the correct diagnosis, in helping you make the correct recommendations for the injured individual moving forward. And the seventh habit to successful telehealth consultations is appearance. Consider how you look. You know, it's so tempting if you're not seeing somebody face to face to maybe let some of those areas of professionalism slip. But people notice those things. Make sure you've got a professional shirt on. And just a tip, checks and stripes and bright patterns do not go well on a camera. And while I don't expect you to be a media personality or an interviewer, bear in mind that these things can be distracting to a patient on the other end who's trying to think about their injury and the treatments that they've had to date and the successes with each of them. Our role is to help the patient deliver their information so you can make a good judgment. So try and make sure you're not putting people off by the things that you're wearing, the things that are in your background, by noise. Professionalism and looking presentable is just as important via telehealth as it is in a face-to-face consultation. I hope those tips help. Good luck.